Welcome back to the channel. This is Matt with Coyote Archery. I've got another bow review for you today. Today I'm going to be talking about the Elite Envision, which is their flagship hunting bow for 2022. It's a new bow, kind of a new design for Elite for 2022, and it's a bow that I've kind of been interested in and intrigued by since they first came out. And once I became an Elite dealer, I knew I had to get my hands on one. Not for just for myself, but for my customers as well. And I want to talk to you about this bow a little bit here today. They have made quite a few changes from what they've done in the past. Specs on this bow, starting out, is axle to axle length is 31 inches. So just kind of a nice average size that makes a nice hunting bow, compact enough to get you into tight spaces, but still going to be a forgiving shooting bow. The brace height is a forgiving 6 7/8 of an inch, so almost a 7-inch brace height. Is going to be, again, a forgiving bow. Our weight is right there with most of your other flagship bows at 4.45 pounds, so right about 4.5 pounds. Adjustable draw length, clear down to 23.5, which is really pretty short. You don't see that a lot in a hunting bow, especially a flagship type of bow like this. It goes all the way up to 30.5 inches, so you've got a lot of adjustability in your draw length. Peak weights come in 40, 50, 60, 65, 70, and 75 pound limbs. So you've got a lot of options there for your peak weights. Let off is adjustable from 70 to 90 pounds, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. And an advertised IBO speed of 334 feet per second. Does come in right hand or left hand, and it comes in several different colors, a lot of different solid colors, and then this one here is the QU Verde color, which I really like. I think it is a really nice finish and a really nice color on this bow. You've even got a little bit of an accent there on the limbs, which is kind of cool. Something that Elite does that's a little bit unique. But I can step back and give you kind of a look at this bow. One thing you'll notice right away, at least I do, if you've been around Elite bows in the past, the riser is a little bit different than what they've done. It still kind of has that Elite look to it. It still has this bridging or this caging in both the top and the bottom part of the riser, but it's a lot more of a straight riser. You don't have near as much deflex in the riser as what they've done before. And it's pretty long. If you look at as compared to where the axles are on this bow, the riser itself is pretty long. It's going to make for a very forgiving, very stable shooting bow, and it does balance very well. You know, when I hold this out, that bow just kind of sits there and balances very well. It's not leaning, or it's not wanting to come back to me or anything like that. They do have their ASIM tri-track cam, so you've got cables running on each side of the cam, and then of course your string running right down the center, and that's going to help keep those cams running vertical. Adjustable mods, and this is their performance mod, so it's going to give you a little bit more speed. They have a couple of different module options where you can purchase different mods and change that out to get a different feel for the bow. But this has a really nice draw cycle to it, and it does give you just a little bit more speed. Lots of adjustability with these mods. And then, like I was talking about, your draw stop. This is your cable stop. And you can see I can adjust the let off with this set screw. Let me get that where you can see it. Okay, so there's a small track here. I can adjust this module to adjust the let off. And if you want a little bit more holding weight, this here is set on, I think this is push clear over to where it'd be a 90% let off. But you can adjust this to where you can adjust that let off and see how adjust your holding weight to something more fine-tuned to what you're looking for. And then it also will come with your limb stops right here. So the cable stop is really a pretty solid back wall. I kind of like a cable stop. There's just a little bit of give to it. I like that for pulling through the shot, but some people want more of a solid backstop. So it does have a limb stop built in right here. You can see that. And then you would just simply use these little rubber pegs. They would screw into these holes. You can see there's 5 different holes here, so it gives you some adjustability on the feel there as well, top and bottom. Screw those in, and then you're going to have a limb stop, and I've shot it with that, and it is very, very solid as you would expect. You pull back and it's right there, and there's no give at all. So you do have the option of the limb stops or the cable stops. There is a little bit to know when you're setting that up. There's some videos Elite put out that's on YouTube that's good for that, or just have your dealer work on it and that type of thing as well. Something you can set up yourself without a bow press, but there is some certain settings on here that will work better than others. So make sure that you know what you're doing before you're doing that. But up here at the limbs, they do have a wider limb pocket. Elite has changed this for 2022, so they're quite a bit wider here in their limb pocket. Again, this is all aluminum limb pocket, but you've just got a wider stance, which is going to give you a more stable shooting bow. I have some guys that come in my shop and they're still shooting the old single limb bows and that type of thing, and they really like those skinny bows, but once I explain to them the advantages of having the split limbs and having a wider platform, they really see the difference there and see what that's all about. And as far as shooting or hunting, to me, this doesn't bother me being wider. I feel like I've got a more stable bow that's going to be more forgiving, more accurate bow. You still have your set technology, which I haven't talked about before because I've just started selling Elites, and I've talked about some of their mid-price and lower-end bows, but this is their flagship bow, and it does have what they call a set technology. So this screw right here, you would loosen this up, and then it tells you right here which way to turn left or right for adjusting the tune of your bow, for adjusting your paper tear. So you're shooting through paper and you've got a left or right tear. This will tell you which way to turn that screw. Just make small adjustments, top and bottom, lock it back in, and it's going to rotate this limb pocket like this, and it's going to adjust the lean of that cam and where your string is located. You want to do that in small increments. That's going to help you to really tune in your bow. Real similar to what I've talked about with Bowtech and their deadlock technology. That deadlock moves that cam left to right. Elite uses the set technology, and they're rocking that limb pocket left to right. Works very well. It's probably the two best tuning bows that you can buy. All the other bows are going to use shims up here in the cam, and you're going to have to take the cam out, move those shims around, and it works fine. It's just a slower, more tedious process. This is really quick. It's something you can do without a bow press and something you can do on your own. So I really like that. We do have mounting holes for a two-piece quiver. So again, like a tight spot quiver, they make a two-piece quiver. There's other types of quivers like that as well, but you do have the option to mount those in there. You do have the caged riser like I talked about, both top and bottom. The grip on these bows is new for 2022. So if you look, if I can show you this here, it's a little slimmer up top, and then it widens out just a little bit at the bottom. It's kind of rounded off, but it still has some sharp edges, and I wouldn't say sharp edges. It has more of a squared edge, which most people feel the most comfortable. It just gives you a place where your hand's just going to sit there, and it's going to be something that's going to be repeatable. So I really like the grip on these. I really like that it's just off the riser. I'm not a big fan of an additional grip on here where you've got a plastic or a rubber grip that's separate from the riser, something that can be removed. I like where it's just part of the riser and it's a little bit slimmer. To me, that's just a more consistent grip. You do have the double burger holes right here. So, like you can see with this whisker biscuit rest that I've mounted, I've got 2 bolts in there. Now this is going to be perfectly lined up. I don't have to take a level to it or anything like that to set this up. And I don't have to worry about this moving on me at all either. We do have the adjustable roller guard. It's kind of hard to get in there to show you that. But there are some markings here. I can loosen this up and I can adjust this side to side if I need to adjust for vein clearance, or you can also use this for tuning. You can make some slight adjustments on this and it will affect your lean up here to where you can work on tuning your arrows as well. Something I haven't ever had to mess with because these bows tune very easily. But if you are shooting some bigger veins or having some clearance issues, that's something that you could look at there as far as adjusting on the bow. We do have a vibration dampener just like on all Elite bows. here on the string stop, and you've got a place for a front stabilizer and also for a rear stabilizer here if you want to. You do have some vibration dampening in the limbs, and then also right down here at the bottom of the riser there is a small vibration dampener they've got in the bottom of the bottom part of the riser there as well. So overall, the finish of this bow is very, very nice. I do like this Coyote Verde finish. I will have some videos talking about some of the Coyote gear that I use coming up here shortly. So I am kind of a fan of that, but that's why I ordered it in this pattern. But just a great looking bow, a great feeling bow, and a great shooting bow. I'm very, very impressed with this, and I could see myself having one of these for my own personal bow. So, but we'll talk about that, and we'll get this out and shoot it here in just a little bit. Lots of technology in these bows, lots of quality. Again, Elite has a lifetime warranty, and they also have their hunt guarantee. So if you're on a hunt somewhere and your bow breaks or you have troubles with your bow, it's not working properly, get a hold of Elite, and they will send you out a bow quick as they can so that you can get back in the field and continue that hunt. So that's a nice thing where they stand behind their products. So anyways, great looking bow, great feeling bow from Elite. Let's take it over and shoot it a little bit. Talk about the draw cycle, talk about the feel of the bow, and we'll run a few arrows through the chronograph and see what type of speeds we're getting. Okay, I've got the Elite Envision, and I'm going to take a few shots through it here. In my shop, it's going to sound louder than it would when you're hunting. One, I'm inside, you've got a little bit of echo. Two, my target is here, only about 4 or 5 yards away, so you're going to get the sound of that hitting the target as well. This bow hits pretty hard. It surprises me for what it is. It's not set up as a speed bow. Elite, of course, is known for their shootability and for a nice shooting experience. They're not looking for something that's going to get a lot of speed, but you're still getting decent speeds out of this. It's rated at 334 IBO, which is nothing to balk at. So really just a great hunting bow, a great option here. Take a few shots and I'll show you what this kind of explain the draw cycle and what it feels like to me. I am using my Scott Verge release. So if you haven't watched the video on this, you might want to go check it out. Really like this thing. The more I use it, the more I get used to it. The more I really like this release. So check out the video and then make sure you check these out as well. You might want to go to your local shop and try them out. Come in here and try this one out. I've got some here in stock. But check this out. Again, as always, 28 inches and 60 pounds. This is a 65-pound bow. I've got it turned down to 60 pounds. And I'm shooting Gold Tip Hunter XT. It's a 300 spine. And let's just take a few shots here. Okay. So the draw cycle it's very smooth draw. Some bows that I've shot before are very stiff up front, or maybe there's a big hump, and it drops into a valley. This is very easy to start, and it's just nice and smooth all the way through. There's just a little bit of a rollover into the valley. I did notice with the limb stops on here that the valley was a little bit shorter. And that's probably just with the let-off settings. That's something I could have probably played with a little bit and adjusted those let-off settings. I didn't take a lot of time to do that. But the way that it was set up, the valley was a little bit shorter, and it kept me honest in pulling through the shot. The way it's set up now, with the 90% let-off and 60 pounds, 28-inch draw, and just using the cable stops, the back wall is really pretty solid for cable stops, and I don't feel like it's wanting to go on me. That valley's a little bit longer where I can sit back there and hold if I needed to, to wait on an animal or something like that. Letting off and walking that bow forward is really pretty easy as well. It's not really wanting to lurch forward. It's not like I have a big rollover where I kind of have to push it. It's just kind of a natural feel. So really very pleasant there. I'll draw it back again and take a shot for you here. Yeah, very nice. Holds very well. I notice and it's not, I don't really notice it on the shot. Depends on how you grip the bow. As far as the vibration, if you've got a death grip on it, you're going to feel just a little bit of a vibration, very light, and it doesn't last for very long. But if you're holding it as you should, and trying not to get a big grip on that bow and just trying to keep your hand off of it, you're not going to really notice anything on the shot. Again, this is a bare bow. I don't have a sight. I don't have stabilizer. I don't have a quiver, anything like that on there. I do notice just a little bit of vibration if I've got a bigger grip on it. If you're holding the bow like you should, you're probably not going to notice much of anything. There's no big jump in the shot. There's no big hand shock. Just a little bit of vibration that I notice. Nothing that's really even noticeable unless you're really looking for it. So let me take another shot, and you can see that again, and then we'll go to the chronograph. Okay, we'll shoot this one more time. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, just a great feeling bow. I really, no complaints. It just feels very nice. It feels like a high-end bow should. So really like the draw cycle, really like the feel of the shot. Let's shoot it through the chronograph and see what speeds we're getting. Okay, so through the chronograph, I've got the Elite Envision 28-inch draw, 60 pounds. I'm shooting the Gold Tip Hunter XT. This is a 300 spine, 125 grain points. So my total arrow weight is right around 435 grains. Let's see what we get for our speeds with this. Two 252 feet per second, which for a smooth shooting bow, a nice draw like this, really not too bad. We'll shoot it again, and then I'll move to a little lighter arrow and see what we get there. Okay, shot number 2, 435 grain arrow, 60 pounds, 28 inches. Same thing. 252 feet per second again. It didn't register on my phone for some reason. Must be a Bluetooth issue, but 252 feet per second with a 435 grain arrow, 60 pounds, 28 inches. Really not too bad for such a great smoothing bow, not aggressive at all. So let's go to, let's just switch to 100 grain field point, puts us a little bit lighter arrow, and see what we get there. Okay, so I've just switched to a 100 grain field point. We're going to be about 410 grains now. Gold Tip Hunter XT 300 spine. About 410 grains. Elite Envision 28-inch draw, 60 pounds. Two 258 feet per second, so we moved up about 6 feet per second. I'll shoot it again, see if we can get a duplicate or something close to that. Okay, second shot with 410 grain arrow. Same thing, 258 again. My shot string is almost full on my phone, so I've got to reset it every time. So that's why it's not registering every time on my phone. Trust me, it says 252 feet per second, or 258. We were 252 with the 435 grain arrow. 258 with the 410 grain arrow. I am shooting through a whisker biscuit, so you may lose 1, maybe 2 feet per second on that. So you could be close to 260 feet per second with a 410 grain arrow, 60 pounds, 28 inches. For a very smooth drawing bow, very easy shooting bow. Speeds really are pretty impressive. I'm pretty pleased with that. So anyway, really like this bow. It's a great option. It's something you might look into for your hunting season. It's just around the corner, so if you're looking to get into a new bow, you might want to jump on that here pretty quickly. But I will always have them here in stock here at Coyote Creek Archery. Like I've always said, don't just take my word for it. Come out and shoot them. Go down to your local pro shop. Hopefully you're close by here where you can come shoot this bow and see what I've got here in stock. But come shoot them for yourself and see what it's like for yourself. It's really hard to judge based off of someone else telling you on video. Everyone's going to feel something a little bit different when they're shooting a bow. You may like one versus the other, so you need to go try them all out and see what they're about, and let that bow pick you and you not pick the bow based off of what you see on different videos, social media, that type of thing. So anyway, if you ever have any questions, shoot me an email, send me a text, send me a phone call. All that information is on my website, coyotecreekarchery.com. I appreciate you folks watching and hope you have a great day.